Good afternoon, everyone. Let everyone join the session. Okay, we'll start the session in 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, let everyone join the session. Then we'll start the class. guys. Good afternoon, everyone. So far, we have covered the initial phases of development, right? Including brainstorming, ideations, right? Am I correct? And we also discussed the core principle of thinking. So, we'll move into another aspect, okay? That is understanding our user and project requirements. Guys, am I audible, guys? Okay, now am I audible? Yeah, okay. So, till yesterday we covered the initial phase of product development, right? Including brainstorming ideations and defining problem statements. Okay. Yeah. Now we'll discuss about another aspect of product requirement, that customer journey maps. Okay. Let me share my screen. Am I audible, guys? Is my voice? Here? Let me share my screen. Guys, is my screen? Are you able to see the screen? Oh, okay. Now we'll discuss about these customer journey maps. Okay, a customer the essential visualization. Okay, it's to understand how customer experience our product or it service. Okay, it visualize how customers experience our service or the product. How they feel throughout the all experience. Okay, let's think telling a story for customer view, like retailing very interactive. They have a service. Okay, the primary is to utilize these into under customer interaction with the product. Okay, by this mapping out these journeys, why why behind their choices. Okay, as you said, help to visit how customers experience or service and feel way. Second reasons team customer is to understand better how the product experiences their okay, how customer experience their product. Mapping out these customer journeys helps explain why customer make choice aspect of product available. Yes, I think they will wait for a minute. Let's wait, guys, for the issue is not audible. Okay, now guys, will yeah. Okay, so you can see the customer journey to is how experience about your product or your okay maps the customer journey has a lot host of benefits such as allowing you to optimize the customer onboarding process. Next one is benchmark the customers and no customer and what they have received. Okay. Third one is understanding the difference in buyer persons and the move for the prospect to conversion throughout the buying funnel. Okay. The fourth one is creating a logic order to your buyer journey. However, the biggest benefit is simply understand more. The better you understand their more experience customers their need. Guys, still it is not clear. Now, am I audible, guys? Someone says yes, someone says no. It is network issue, guys. Okay, let us continue. Okay, so what are the benefits of creating these maps? Okay, let's see that. Okay, firstly, they allow us to optimize the customer onboarding process. As you can see here, it is mentioned like allowing you to the optimize the customer onboarding process. Okay, if we understand the step a new user takes where he might get stuck in the app. Okay, we can streamline that experience. Okay, secondly, it is telling that we can benchmark these desired trends. Actually, actually this help us to identify gaps, area development. Okay, and thirdly, the customer journey maps help us to understand different perspectives as they more as they move for a perspective to combine user type different and mapping them uh, help out. Okay, voice is not clear. Okay, guys, give me a moment. Wait a minute. Am I audible now? Okay, okay. So where are we? Yeah. Okay. So these points are about like they help in create logical order, get a logic to by the biggest benefit. Okay, the ability gaining a much better experience. Okay, understanding our customers. The more we understand their experience of these customer maps. So now let's look into an example. Uh, Voice is not. No, I'm not. Guys, is my voice clear now? Change my network also. What about my screen? Is it sharing? Can you see the slide? Okay, okay, it's clear. See, as I said, it helps to visualize a customer experience. You- As you can see here, the phases of the journey. Okay, it breaks customer experience to different phases. As you can see, the phases point, customer, customer feeling, process ownership, and opportunities. Okay. And for that, okay, section, you can see the registration, okay, onboarding, and first session. So we consider, okay, by these acts and consider first see about actions. What is a customer doing at this stage? Okay, when we look at this, what customer is doing at this stage? For example, in the registration, you you what you might do for the registration, uh, like, connect your or connect your Google account, or you will choose a plan. Okay, clear. And why this problem is voice breaking. I have my network to two different connections. Okay, and still we are facing this issue. I don't know why. See that some people okay with the okay, some people okay with the voice, but some people are not able to hear. Yeah, some people are not able. Uh, okay, regarding this issue, I have informed my team. Okay, Okay, let it be. Just continue the session. The issue with right might be okay. Next, we'll see touch point part of product or service they're done with. Okay, like in their Google account, that point might be free trial landing page, right? Uh, when you try to sign up with a new application, okay, when you join with your Google account, the every application or every product will be the paid versions, right? And you can see here a free trial application. So here the touch that the landing page. Okay, coming to the customer thought. Okay, what is a customer thinking? This is a crucial for understanding their mental state. For example, during onboarding, they might think, why they pop up, and some might be asking for additional survey or additional which they want, uh, the so this do the customer thought. They might be thinking that why there are so many pop-ups. Okay, so next the customer feeling. How is the customer feeling? Uh, like emotion too quickly. The emotion. Okay, a happy face for a positive feeling, a neutral face for the different, bit sad, or for a negative one. Okay. Indicate that some frustration with the pop-ups. Okay, to the ship you internally is responsible for this part of the journey. Okay, this helps in assigning the responsibilities for improvement. Okay, who is lead on this? Come based on your customer actions, thoughts, and feelings. What opportunities exist for the improvement of their product? Right. For example, a neutral onboarding, okay, suggest an opportunity to make the trip. So we can say that is based on this understanding we can understand our customer actions or customer thoughts. So it helps, okay, where we can make a significant impact, okay, on the customer experience. So as user is functional requirement in agile workflow. Guys, now I'm audible. Okay, guys, some people, yeah, unable to join the meeting due to the limit issue. Okay, give me a moment, guys. I'll check with that. Guys, just inform my team regarding this issue. Implement our info, so don't worry about it. So we'll just continue with the class. So an agile workflow, okay, is a series of stages that the teams follow to develop an application. Okay, in order to develop application, we have to follow some steps of workflow. So it is called as an agile workflow. Okay, it is a series of stages. Okay, from the initial idea to completion. Okay, with this workflow, we often use a hierarchical structure to organize our work. As we can see here, an agile workflow is a series of stages. Agile terms used to develop an application from ideation to completion. At the top, we have an initiative, which is collect a epic. Okay, to collect a epic that drive towards a common. These are for work. Uh, just a moment, guys. So I informed them regarding this issue that you are not able to hear my voice. So what you can do is you can rejoin again. Okay, exit the meeting or webinar or rejoin again. Okay. Then this issue might be fixed. You can able to hear my voice. Okay, guys, exit the meeting and rejoin again. If you are facing with the issue with my voice, now let's continue the session. Okay. So, initiative or the collection of the epic drive towards the main goal. So, this is about the agile flow. Okay, it is just a series, like series of the steps. Sure, we make sure they go in the step, the order development. Okay? Users. So, what exactly is it? The tree is a small unit of in agile. Not a feature, but an end of goal. As when using the software, the user story will convey what the user wants to achieve and the stage in the simple, non-technical way. In agile projects, users are ordered, which is an order list of functions. It's a story is always small work in agile framework. It is not about defining a specific feature, but rather describing an goal that a user has to interact with the software. We want in simple, okay, in non-technical way. These user stories are organ clock, essentially list of functions. Okay, to further. Uh, user stories is written like this. Okay. Has type user, I want some goal. So let's look into an example. I mean, let us imagine as a to descriptions to a product so that user later view this and come product. Yeah. Here user is admin. Okay. What is the type of the user here? Is the product. Okay. The go to add description. The reason is user uh, have this compare. Okay. So this format help us to keep. Okay. This format helps us to on the track. Okay. So what here the user type is added product. Okay. In some reason user can able to description. Okay. Compare. Is it clear? Okay. So now we see why user stories for development teams. Okay. For development team new algae, user stories sometimes seem like an added step. Why not just break the big project into a series of steps, okay, and get into with it? But stories give them a team important context and associate task with the value those tasks bring. Okay, you might be wondering why do we need these user stories, right? Okay, it's crucial and link develop task you do that. Okay, there are key benefits. Okay, here are some key benefits. Stories keep focusing on the user. Okay, stories keep focusing on the user instead of uh, just a to-do list. Stories constantly remind the team about their real people. Okay, and they are building for and the problems they are solving. Okay, so the every have focus on the chapter. The stories of that keep focus on the started this and what the actual goal of their product. So that next is enable collaboration. One end of the goal is clearly defined. Collab discuss on the approach of the user and their right. Uh, okay. So once the end of the goal is clearly defined. Okay. Once the goal is clearly defined, the team can out okay approach in order to a goal. So enable collaboration. Right. Next third one, stories drive creative solution. It says uh, on the what and why rather than how stories encourage the team to actively solve the user problem. It focused on why that how what and next is create momentum. Right. Each completed user stories represent a small overcome all which helps team motivated and momentum throughout the project, right? Stories create a momentum any they have solved in the start. Okay, so just present challenge to overcome, right? So that story will be maintaining the motivation and momentum throughout. Okay, let's see the user users solely involve collaborative. Okay, typically client analyst. So there are four means, right? Write the need of the users, create topics, user stories, and fourth one is defining the. This goes back to our empathy to ensure that truly understand what user needs. Okay, validate the needs of the says we need to improve and understand the user need. Right. So next, the user needs to fix with essential to both the teams functionality. Right. Writing the user story. This is where you break down the epics into individual user. Individual stories using as a type of user and I have some summary format. Okay, this is what. Okay. Next, defining the accepted area for each user, like user story. need to define criteria. Okay, like when meet is completed. Okay, uh, and delivers the value of the user. So should be discussed clearly. So you can see the good tree can be independent, negotiable, estimate, small, acceptable. You can see the table, like table that helps organize the user story. It includes user type, functional requirement, epic number, the user story. Right. For example, the customer is a user, let us imagine is a mobile user. Under the session, Epic user can register to the application by entering the email, password, and confirming my password. Right. The acceptance criteria could be I can access my account, might be access my code. We all assign a party, high, low, large, release the text. Okay. So next, user stories. Sam, guys, are you um, user stories? Users remember the best ever user story. Okay. Uh, so the good user stories should be independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, okay, and small, testable. So independent developer should be able to implement the user stories in a sequential way, okay, without being blocked by independence of the stories, right? So next, negotiable. The stories should avoid the excessive details and remain flexible, right? Because it should be allowing further discussion during the development, and it should be valuable because the user should derive some clear value from the completion of the story, right? And the team should be able to estimate the effort required to the completion of the story. And next, smaller user stories are generally easier to estimate, right? The plan and it can be able to complete the larger one also. And along with that, testable, like it must be possible to define a clear definition of done, right? The criteria and acceptance should be allow everyone to verify that user story. It is completed, right? So keeping invest in the mind will significantly improve your quality of your user stories. Okay. Okay. Is it clear, guys? Right? Okay. So that we have covered, right? So we have covered the project requirements and user needs and all things. Okay. Now we'll just move into the next topic. Okay. That is a critical tool that involved in collaborative development of the project. That is GitHub, right? So just tell me how many of you are aware of this GitHub? Guys, am I audible? Yeah. Yeah, guys, can you tell me how many of you are aware of this GitHub? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. Okay. So now we'll discuss about it, right? Before we talk about this GitHub, let's understand the Git. Okay. So Git is a distributed version control system. Okay. It's a version control system. Okay. Okay. So it is used by the people working with source code. Okay. Here the source code is your project code, right? So this version control system is basically used by the people who working with the source code, but it is useful for anyone who needs to track the edits. Okay, when the changes when the changes need to be done, right? Okay. So this Git is used by the people who is working with the source code because they need to track the edits and they want to know the edit history. Okay, these types of changes they need to know. That's why. Uh, let me explain you with an example. I'll try to explain. Just imagine multiple developers are working on the same project or a same code. Okay, so the multiple developers are working in the same code base. Git allows each developer to have an entire copy of the code locally on their machine. Got it? So when the multiple developers are working on a specific code base, the Git allows each developers to have an entire copy of the code base in their local, in their machine. Okay. So changes are then fetched from the center remote repository, right? So in this GitHub, you have to create a repository and you have to, in that repository, you have to add your code there. Okay. So it will be enabling the collaboration and tracking the every modification done in the code. Okay. So that is the nature. It is very efficient to use. Okay. I hope you got an idea of this GitHub, this Git, right? So, so what exactly this version control system is? Okay. So it is a way to manage the files and directories in the main purpose of track the changes over a period of time, right? Over the time and allow to recall the previous changes too. Okay. Uh, think about a project where you are constantly making the changes to the document. Okay. Okay. Think you are working on a project, the same project, you are continuously making the changes in it. Okay. Okay. So, you might end up with files like document underscore final doc, right? Hmm? Right. So after that, you will make some changes and you will again rename it the document final, really final dot docs, right? So with the version control system, you have clear and organized history of the every change, right? You made it, and this will able to help to managing the complex project and collaborate with your team members. You have made one edit and you have saved that file as final document, and after that you made another changes and you saved as a second document, right? But your team members has to be known that where edit you have been made and what is the edit history, right? So that he can also collaboratively have a knowledge with your project, right? So that's where this version control system comes to play. Next, we'll see what is a repository or a repo. We'll call it as a repo. Okay. So what is repository? In this context of Git and GitHub, we oftenly talk about repository or repo, and shortly we will call it as a repo, right? So repository is a central place where you organize a project. That's it. A repository is a place where you will organize a project. So when you create a GitHub account, when you log in into the GitHub, you will see that before adding your project, you can see that create a repository. Okay, we can assume that it is as a file for your project. Okay, we have to first create that repository and you have to upload the project there. Okay, guys, give me a moment. Yeah, guys. So I had talked with my team. They are saying like the problem is with Zoho. Okay, the problem is with Zoho. From my end, the network is a very good network. Okay, now am I audible? I'm audible, guys. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. And don't worry about that attendance. Once you have once you have log in to your once you have joined the webinar or joined the meeting, the attendance will be directly calculated, right? The attendance will be recorded by the Zoho. Don't need to worry, right? And they know that the problem is regarding the Zoho, so they will be calculating your attendance too. Don't worry about that, okay? So let us continue the session. Are you able to see the screen, guys? Can you see the slides? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, repository is a place usually used to organize the single project. Okay, repo can contain folders and files, images, videos, and spreadsheets, data sets, anything your project needs. So after completing your project, you have to create a GitHub account. Okay, log into a GitHub account. There, create a repository. Okay, create there a repository with your project name. Okay, anything. In that repository, you have to organize your project folders there. Okay, in the repository, you have to place your project folders. So that is called repository. Okay, it is a place where your project files is need to be organized there. Okay, so repo can contain virtually anything, right? Anything your project needs, like it might be folders, files, images, videos, spreadsheets, or data sets. Okay, Okay. So it is a complete collection of the project, right? It's a complete collection of all the project files. Okay. Yeah. So this is about a repository. Let's see. Yeah. Next, let's see basic Git workflow. Guys, in the last 20 minutes or 15 minutes, okay, in the last 20 or 15 minutes, we will discuss about your doubts. Okay. Now please listen the class. Okay. Yeah. So So basic Git workflow. In general, the basic routine is update your local repository with git clone or git pull. Okay, edit these files locally. So this is the routine you'll generate. The first, this is a general steps you will follow in order when you're working with Git and GitHub, right? So first one is like update your local repository. Okay, so update your local repository. You start by getting the latest version of this code from the from the repository, right? So next, edit the files locally. You make your changes files in your own machine or in your own VS Code, right? So make the changes in your VS Code. After that, add changes to the staging area, right? So first, update your local repository. Next, edit your files locally. And then you add changes to the staging area. Once you're happy with your changes, okay, you use Git and stage those changes into the GitHub. Okay, the place you will be prepare your changes before committing them. Okay? Next one, commit the changes. Okay, commit the changes your local repository. You use git commit. This command takes the changes from the stacking area to the records. Okay, see, this is git commit. Okay, what it will do, these commands will take the changes from the stacking area to and the records into your version. Okay, that is the git repository. Next, git push. Okay, push changes the remote repository. Okay, finally, when you use git push to upload your committed changes from your locally repository to the entire remote repository. Okay, by this click you can just push the entire code, entire changed code. Okay, and it will be available to your team members to view, right? Here you can see the workflow diagram. This diagram represents the git workflow, right? Git workflow we just discussed. So first you start working with your directory, right? Where you can make your edits. Okay. You then add your changes to the staging area. Okay. From this staging area, you commit your changes into your local GitHub repository. Right. To share your changes, you should push them to your GitHub. You will push GitHub repository. Okay. Right. So you will get the after that at end of these steps you will get the latest changes from the others. You will fetch them for your local repository them to your working directory, right? And the files will be merged. The files will be merged in there. As you can see the folder structure in the GitHub. So this is the folder structure in GitHub, right? So the first step create a assignment folder. Okay, create a assignment folders. Listen carefully, guys. This is your folders should be. This is the structure of the folders should be of your project, right? So create assignment folders and have respective add a respective subfolders. Okay, you'll have a main folder called as assignments. Inside this, each team member, okay, each team member one, team member two, team member three, will be having their own subfolders. Okay, in this main assignment folder, you will have the subfolders as team lead, team member one, team member two, team member three. Okay, right? So each team member will be then create three internal subfolders with their personal folders. Okay, for assignments. Right. So next, second setup is team lead should create a design and planning folder. Here you can see the team lead should be create a design and planning folder. There the main folder be the project design and planning. You'll have three subfolders. One is ideation, project design, right? Ideation, project design, and project planning. Okay. So under this you have to create the project design as a part one and project design part two, where you have to submit all the corresponding files. Okay. So next the third step is team lead should create a final folder. Okay, here the team lead should create a final folder where this main folder will containing the final code files, project reports, your demonstration link, that is video demonstration link, and any data sets if it is there. You have to upload here in the final documentation, right? In the final documents. So follow this structure. Okay, by following this structure, you will ensure clarity. Okay, we can by the evaluation time, the evaluator can be easily understand your project folders, right? So this. So till now we have discussed like customer journey maps and about the Git and GitHub and what are the Git, how to use the Git, how can you make the changes locally and command for pushing them, right? And so this is the folder structure of the GitHub, how you should create a folder in the GitHub. In your specific repository, you have to create like this assignment. Okay, in this assignments, team leader, team member one, two, three, and their assignments in the subfolder. The next step is to create a project design and planning. In this folder too, you have to create an ideation, okay, and project design and project planning. In this project design, and two subfolders are there. One is for project design part one, project design part two. Okay. And the third folder is the main folder, which it contains your project files. So this is the structure of the files, project files in the GitHub repository. This structure should be maintained, and by following this structure, you have to upload the files in your repository. Then first you have to create a GitHub account, log in into GitHub account. There you create a repository there. In that repository, you have to upload your folder in this structure. Okay. Are you guys getting me? Okay. So guys, let's take break for 10 minutes. Okay. Okay. Next we will discuss about the next steps. Okay, just take 10 minutes of break. I'll be back within 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah. Hello everyone. Hope you guys are back from the break. Now let's see the knowledge session. Okay, project phase 3 and 4. Let me share my screen. Guys, can you see my screen? Are you able to see my screen? Guys, can you see my screen? And is my voice audible? Am I audible? Or what about the screen? Can you able to see the PPT? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the next is the knowledge session, project phase 3 and 4. Okay. So these are the crucial steps of the project development. Okay. So here we'll be focusing on the project design phase and the project planning phase. Okay. So that you'll have a clear understanding of what involved in this designing phase and planning phase, right? Yeah. So let's take a quick look on our agenda. Okay. Can you see the screen, guys? Can you see the agenda? Can you see the agenda, guys? Okay. So, okay. For the next hour, we'll be in phase 3 and the project design. Okay. We'll see the three key areas of the problem solution. Okay. Problem, solution fit, and proposed solution and solution architecture. Right. In the phase 4, project planning phase. Okay. All right. Just let's get started. In the project design phase, okay, in the project design phase, this is where the real creative and analytical work begins. Okay. So here the way your creative works will begins. Right. As you can see, the project teams are expected to complete three main activities during this phase. Okay. The first one is a problem solution fit and proposed solution and solution architecture. It's important to note that, okay, it is important to note that there are three specific templates, okay, you'll need to submit, right? Am I audible? Am I audible, guys? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So there are three specific templates. Okay, you'll need to be submit. Okay, we'll go through them each in detail, right? Okay. The project team shall complete the above activities as a part of the project design phase. These are the three activities, guys. Okay. Yeah. Now we see the problem solution fit. Okay. One of the most crucial aspect. Okay. The one of the most crucial aspect is problem solution fit. Like you might have heard of different stages a startup goes through, right? If for example a startup, okay, it should be like, if you start a startup, you have you might going into different stages, right? Like the customer development process, where identify the kind of the fit, okay, the problem solution. So the business model of market fit, for our current phase, we are concentrating on the first one, problem solution fit. Okay. This is about making sure that the problem you are identified is real and you propose a solution to address it. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? Let me explain you with the example. Okay, let's imagine you're trying to solve the problem of the people, okay, forgetting their reusable cups at home. Okay, forgetting their cups at home. Your proposed solution is a smart coffee cup, okay, that sends a reminder to your phone when you leave home without the problem. Okay, without the problem. What the problem is? The problem solution here is whether the people actually forgetting their cup. Okay, is it a problem? And a smart cup with reminders truly helps them to remember that. If people mostly forget their cups, then solution might be good fit or not. Okay, the people are really forgetting their cups by reminding by idea. Okay, by reminding them with this idea, is it a real fit for that problem? Okay, in that way you should think that. Okay, so that is called problem and solution fit, right? So next we'll see about the different stages starter. Okay, this diagram will represent that the different stages in startup and how the fits we are just discussed. Okay, just now we discussed, right? You can see the problem fit and crucial. Okay, then idea, concept. Okay, even before you start committing, it's about ensuring that your initial idea is okay with the customer need, right? It's okay with your customer need. Is it satisfying your customer need? This phase is all about validating that fundamental connection before you building anything. Okay? Before you building anything, it's ensure that the fundamental connection of the user need, right? As you can see here, first one formation, next validation and growth. The formation, we have to make a mission. Okay, for that you have to be a perfect vision for that, and you have to make a strategy to achieve that. Okay, yeah, as you can see here, idea, concept. In the validation phase, okay, we will uh, we will facing that we have to ensure that a minimum value product, and we have to validate, iterate it, pivot. Okay, we have to check again and again, right? After that, in order to achieve the growth, and we can scale it up if everything goes well, right? So these all the steps we need to be follow and make sure everything is satisfied, right? So let's see what is a problem and solution fit. So what exactly the problem is? Okay, it means you are identified a genuine problem of your customer. Okay, a customer is, if a customer faces a problem, you have uh, you have idea about it. Okay, and the solution, you have developed a plan to solve that problem. Okay, it's not enough, it's not enough a good idea. Okay, it's not enough a good idea, it need to be a good idea for a specific problem. This fits the foundation of everything else, right? First you have to be correct with your solution for a specific problem. Okay, so we can see that here, that you should make clear with your solution for a specific problem. Example, uh, let's take the same example of the coffee cup. Okay, the problem is people leaving their cups at home. The solution is a, what is the solution for that? Smart cup with reminders. Okay, the problem here, they are forgetting their cups at home, right? But the solution that a user, or the solution that the user came up with, the owner came up with, here the solution fit means that people who are using the smart cup, they genuinely stop forgetting their habit, right? They have to stop that habit. If they continuously forget, and they haven't achieved the solution, and your solution isn't truly worked out, it's again a problem, right? So that's the thing, that's the solution. Okay, that's the problem, and is it a good solution for it? You have to check with that. Okay, so problem solution fit canvas. Okay, the problem solution helps entrepreneurs or marketers, or startup owners, okay, to understand their patterns. Okay, understand the behavioral patterns and recognize what will work and why it will work. Okay, for a specific problem, it understand why and what it will work, right? By focusing on this, uh, a owner can successfully, uh, fasterly increase the adoption of the solution, right? So it's all about understanding the existing situation, how we can improve that to a targeted solution, right? For example, if you understand the people forgetting their cups because they're always in a rush in a morning, or missing their works. Okay, so rather than just be eco-friendly, this will really getting help to the customer mindset, right? So in this, you can see here customer stage fit, problem behavior fit, communication channel, and solution guess, right? So what is proposed solution? Okay, so proposed solution, after doing a through investigation into the problem, you would have a solid grasp how the problem occurred. Thus, you need to propose a practical solution or suggestion, okay, to understanding the rectifying the issue, right? Guys, am I audible? Can I get a quick thumbs up? Yeah, okay. So in this proposed solution, the first one is problem statement, the problem, the actual problem to be solved. Next, the idea, solution description. Okay, and next the novelty, uniqueness, and social impact, that is customer satisfaction and business model, the financial benefit and scalability of solution. Okay, coming to the solution architect. The solution architect. So this is where that will provide a foundation of the software development, right? As here we can see solution architecture practice to provide a ground of a software development projects by tailoring IT solution to specific business need to be defining the fundamental requirements and stages of implementation, right? So it is all about tailoring IT solution to a specific business needs. Okay, uh, think of it like a blueprint. Okay, think of it like a blueprint of a building. Okay, how all the different parts of your software solution will work together. Okay, planning a specific thing. Okay, that is called as a architecture. Okay, solution architecture, same the solution architecture also containing specific parts. Okay, it defines how to work the solution effectively or work our plan effectively. Okay, so using a minimum visible architecture strategy is an effective way to bring a software product to market faster at the lower cost. But what exactly do you mean by minimum value architecture? Okay, so initially designing just enough architecture to exactly meet the known quality of the attribute requirement. So in order to quickly create a system visible enough to use in a production, then the minimum value architecture can be continuously augmented to meet additional requirements for requirement changes. As they are defined over time, keeping the architectural design flexible is essential and leveraging the principle, the architecture of changes, leveraging the power of small. So is an excellent way to accomplish this objective. Okay. So let us see this minimum value architecture product. So in simple words, creating a minimum value architecture involves a few key steps. Okay. First one is like initial design. Next, a continuous augmentation. Okay. And flexibility is key. Okay. If you design just a architecture, you meet the quality of a requirement, right? If you design an architecture, you will meet the quality of a requirement of your software system. Okay, this goal is to quickly create a system that visibly enough to use in the production, right? So after that, the minimum value architecture can be continuously augmented to meet additional requirements, right? And then keeping the architectural design flexible is very essential, right? So that building your architecture and manageable pieces and they can able to be easily modified without redoing everything, right? So next we'll see that here we can see this graph shows that the value of a launching of a exponential product. Okay, the exponential products that wait too long for the perfection often miss market opportunities, right? So you can see here. Here you can see a pyramid diagram also. This pyramid diagram, okay, help the concept to helps the concept of the minimum value product. Here you can see the minimum value product. One is not this, okay, one is not this, and do this. Okay. So the most important aspect of these type of architecture are architecture not built for the least likely worst case scenario. Instead, the product will be built by keeping in mind the most likely scenarios. Right. Based on these scenarios, okay, the product should be built. Building in small increments over a period of time for these works smoothly. Okay, the programming language and the major technologies must have already evaluated and decided. Okay, minimum value architecture, that is MVA, does not mean that we change the programming language or major technologies midway. So in the development life cycle, okay. Yes, am I audible? Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a quick thumbs up in the chat? Yeah, okay. So let's see about the project planning phase. Now that we have covered the design phase, right? Let's see the project planning phase. This is all about how you will execute your design project, okay, or a design solution for the problem. Okay? So the agile planning methodologies, right? Project management style that uses that iterative approach. Instead of having a rich, in-depth planning of very beginning, this agile leaves room for requirement changes throughout all the project. Okay. Example, example, think of building a website. A traditional approach might be like planning the single page, right? First, you will plan the single page and features before writing the any code, right? So the agile would start with a simple functional homepage. Next, it will get feedback. Okay, then iteratively add more pages and features based on user actually need. So firstly, it will design a simple page, and next it will say like that build a feedback page, and based on the user inputs, it will modify the every pages, right? See like this. So next, different types of agile methodologies. So guys, am I audible? So, as I said earlier, Agile refers to a set of principles or a set of what you can say, a set of way or set of steps, right? It's not a single method, right? So, there are many different types of methodologies in this Agile methodologies. Okay, so you can choose any of them to implement the Agile, right? So here we can see. Okay, here we can see Kanban. Okay, so Kanban is a simple visual way to manage products. As it is a agile methodology, it is to manage projects. It helps teams to see their progress and what coming up next. Okay, the projects are primarily managed using a Kanban Kanban board, right? So which typically segments tasks in three columns: to do, doing, done. So it is a great way. Okay, it is a great way to complete your project and keeping a track on it. Okay, it is a workflow that identifying the bottlenecks. So example, imagine a t-shirt printing business. A carbon board would be having columns for order received. Okay, and next one a design. Okay, next for printing. Okay, and we can add columns as the business module is, right? So so this is how we can use a Kanban, okay, to use in our project development efficiently, right? Coming to the coming to the Scrum, it's another popular agile framework. It is similar to Kanban in that we will often use a like a Kanban board. Here we will use a Scrum board. Okay, which columns of progress. However, the key differences that is focusing on breaking a project. Okay, focusing project to breaking down into small sprints. Okay, so it is also define a unique project role such as Scrum Master and Product Owner. Okay, like if you are developing a new app, it will say that might decide to work on user login as first time. Okay, completing all aspects within second week period. Okay, like that it will use in your project development. Okay, so agile process. Here you can see a diagram. This diagram elaborates that the framework of it, okay, highlighting how agile focuses on keeping the process learned, okay, and creating the MVP, that is minimum value product. Okay, so gathering and implemented, making these a very dynamic process, right, where everyone collaborate towards a common goal and you can work on it and you can see the roles of a product and you can interact with the sprint cycle, right? Agile focuses on keeping the process lean and creating minimum value product that goes through the several iterations before anything is final. So feedback is gathering and implemented continuously, and in all, it is a much more dynamic process where everyone is working together towards one goal. Okay, so here you can see that sprint planning process. Here you can see a agile team plans as new sprint as part of existing release plan. Uh, Hold a retrospective meeting to discuss and previous sprint and lessons learned. Okay, run a sprint planning meeting to analyze a release a plan and update according to the velocity. Okay, according to the velocity in your recent sprint, right? Changes the priorities to add whether to add a new feature. Okay, so that make sure your stories are detailed enough to work on, elaborate on tasks and that are not well defined, avoid surprises. Okay, break down user scenarios into specific tasks. Okay, assign tasks to team members and confirm what they are committed to performing them. Okay, in the agile framework, it is done by the scrum master. Okay, write the task on physical sticky cards, okay, and hand them to the large board visible to the entire team. Okay, all the user stories, the current sprint should be on the board, right? So learn Scrum with Jira software. Scrum is one of the most popular framework for implementing Agile. Okay, with Scrum, the product is built in a series of fixed length iteration called sprints that give teams a framework for shipping and regular cadence. So step-by-step instruction and how to drive a Scrum project. The first step is create a Scrum project, create a user stories to tasks in the background, create a sprint, okay, hold a sprint planning meeting, next start the sprint in Jira, hold the daily stand-up meetings, view the burn down charts, okay, view the sprint report, hold the sprint review meeting, okay, next hold the sprint retrospective meeting, complete the sprint in Jira, repeat for step 2. So it is a steps involved in the project development with these agile methodologies called Scrum. Okay, guys, am I audible? So wrap up our discussion on Agile. Here are the some best practices for teams. Okay. First one is iterative development build. Right. Second one is daily stand up. Okay. Quick daily meetings to align the progresses and problems you're facing. Okay. Third one is identifying the value. Okay. It will focus us on delivering a features that provide real values. Right. So next one is using project management tools. Okay, by utilizing these tools like Jira, okay, you'll manage your workflow, right? So next, setting communication guidelines. So it is used like it is set for the communication guidelines are for clear communication is main. Okay, the clear communication between team members is main. Next, visual workflows. Okay, so use boards such as Kanban, Scrum, as we discussed just now, to see our work progress. Right. After that, limiting work in progress. Avoid having too many tasks open simultaneously. Okay. Avoid that things. Avoid like you are managing the task simultaneously or parallelly. Avoid that thing. Okay. Reducing waste. Okay. Just delete the unnecessary activities. Okay. From your task, just delete the unnecessary activities. Continuous and constructive feedback. So regularly see for the feedback. Anything you're doing, see for the feedback. Ask with your team members. Based considering on that, you can improve your project, right? Continuous implement. Always look for the ways that you can improve your project. Okay. Hmm? So test-driven development. Write test before writing the code. Okay, write the test before writing the any code of your project. Okay. Small releases. Release the functional increments frequently. Okay. Focus on the flow. Keep working, moving smoothly. Okay. Focus on the work. Keep moving smoothly. Use burn down charts for sprints. Monitor progress visually. Okay. You what you'll do always you have to monitor the progress. Okay. Visually you make the charts. Okay. You keep track on that visually. Okay. Create project backlogs and project vision together. uh, Collaborate on the project scope and goals. Okay, you have to collaborate the project goals and scope. Okay, so this is simply the feature of indicating that the resources of a company that utilizes the methodologies. Okay, you can see here. Okay, so yeah, so this is an example of the template you would use to create your project backlog. Okay, you can see the sprint schedule and the estimation, right? It shows that the list of sprints. Okay, so that's the session, guys. Okay, we have covered the all crucial aspects of designing your solution with problem. Okay, problem solution fate and solution architecture for that, and some agile methodologies. Okay, so these phases are very important. Understanding them as you will get the things while you start the project. Okay, so yeah, is that clear, guys? Is that clear? So regarding your project, they will be informing you soon after completion of your technical training session. They will be informing about the projects. Okay, this is about the project development. Okay, by that time you will be getting the all the things. Okay, you will figuring out the all the things how to make these things all. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay. Any queries, guys? Any queries? Okay. Okay, no queries. Yeah, you will get the mail regarding the project after completion of these sessions. After assigning a couple of projects, that time you will be getting that mail. Okay, don't worry about that. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining. Okay. Thank you for joining. Have a nice day. So it will be a group project, not individual. You have to form your team. Okay. You have to do your projects with your team. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you for joining.